Yeah. So, before we begin, maybe I should explain the weird introduction of intro music now. I learned by watching, by seeing back on some of our previous streams that sometimes, even when I hit the go live button, it doesn't actually go live for 10 or 15 seconds. So I figured from now on, I'm just going to open it up with a little bit of music, a little bit of white boy head bobbing, getting my groove on, and then actually jump into the important stuff, the stuff that you're here for. Speaking of things that you're here for, I know what it is that you want. I know what it is that you crave. And no, it's not electrolytes. It is, in fact, the Cheers with Chaps. So, if you would like to take today's live stream up to the absolute highest highs, to the top level, if you would like to reach the height of humanity, the culmination of all of civilization today, then here's what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to find yourself some kind of beverage vessel. I myself have a nice mug reminding me to keep it simple. And you can fill that beverage vessel with your favorite beverage. Anything you like. Could be coffee, which I personally prefer. Could be water, beer, soju. Hell, it could be laundry detergent for all I care. Fill your beverage vessel and lift it up in a joyous celebration of fraternity and manhood as we now enjoy the Cheers with Chaps. Go. Oh my goodness. That is delicious. I have to say, this feels a little bit weird. This is the soberest I've been for a long time. Like, I haven't had anything to drink since Saturday. It's been like 5 days. It's a little bit. I'm used to doing these live streams a little bit hungover, maybe even a little bit still intoxicated, because we usually have pool nights on Wednesday night in Itaewon. But as I'm sure many of you have heard, Itaewon had its own issues last weekend, and so as a show of reverence, they've decided to cancel all activities this week, which kind of works out okay for me, because that means you get the freshest, the cleanest version of Jack. But even that's not really all that fresh or clean, is it? I mean, I'm not Andre 3K or anything. I still haven't figured out, man. Okay, so I've been having webcam issues, technical issues, installed some software to try and control it, and I turned off the auto brightness feature on it, but it's still doing it anyway. Whatever. Fuck it, I'll have to deal with that later. But let's get over the admin, all the technical bullshit that you don't really care about, and let's get into the stuff that you're really here for, the things that are really important to you. Now, if you saw the title of this video, if you saw what it is that we're going to be talking about today, you should be very excited. You might not be yet, because you don't yet realize what it is that I'm giving you, this great gift I am bestowing upon the world. But this is actually part of our paid content. Normally, I don't give these secrets away for free. This is part of the Girlfriend Accelerator course, and this is one of the strategies that I teach you inside the course. Now, obviously, today we don't have too long to go over it, so I won't be able to go too in detail on it like I do inside the course, but I can give you the basic overview, which, you know what, as a free gift, is nothing to scoff at. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. We're talking about hobby groups, using hobby groups to try to meet women. Well, first of all, why? Why would you do that when you can just, go on Tinder and swipe until your dopamine receptors are all shot and you can no longer be happy in life? Why not, right? Well, obviously, as you guys know, I am not personally a huge fan of online dating, but I understand that it's a thing that people do. I was advising for a long time to just skip online dating altogether and just do street game instead. And while that is the correct strategy, and it's a great strategy, it is unfortunately not one that many people actually take to heart. They say they will and they say they want to, but then whenever it comes to going out and meeting women on the street on their own, a lot of guys, even guys who are good at it, a lot of guys will get out there and then all of a sudden they'll start making excuses. Oh, I'm not in the mood. Oh, I'm not ready. Oh, what if she's busy? Oh, I don't want to bother her. Oh, no, I just don't want to do it. But it's really all just protecting their ego so they don't get rejected. I realize that. I understand it because I've felt the same thing many times. This webcam is, I swear to God, is going to be the first thing to go whenever we start upgrading our setup. I'm going to throw that thing out the window from our balcony. And not only that, but here's the deal I'll make with you guys. Once we start upgrading our setup and I buy a new camera for the computer, we're going to live stream it. We're going to live stream the destruction of this absolute piece of shit. There's no excuse for it to be this bad, for it to be just struggling to figure out lighting. It's not that hard. But in any case, sorry, I got sidetracked there. So the reason that I came up with the idea of hobby groups was because I realized that a lot of guys don't feel comfortable doing street game exclusively. And so I thought, okay, well, what are some other good ways for men to meet women in person that doesn't quite require as much, well, courage as approaching girls on the street, in a cafe, on the subway, things like that. The other things that I've advised. I tend to teach a very courageous style of meeting women and a very forward style. And I thought about it for a bit and I realized that there's a tactic that I had been using for a decade plus. And I had never really thought to implement it as part of the framework. And that's hobby groups, social groups, things like that. And one of the reasons that these are so effective is because you can pick and choose which kind of group you want to be in. And we're going to get into that. But let me first go through the 4 steps to being successful at meeting women in hobby or social groups. Number 1, you need to choose the right hobby. What does that mean? Choose the right hobby. Okay. You have your own hobbies. You have the things that you enjoy doing, the things that are important to you, right? For me, obviously, music is one of the big ones. Collecting weird hats, collecting weird stuffed creatures, right? Like, I suppose that those are hobbies as well, but music is more of a hobby, right? If I tried to join a weird plushy, oh, sorry, wrong side, a weird plushy collectors club, is that going to be a good place to meet women? Probably not, right? Probably not. Or at least not the kind of women that I want to meet, which is, in fact, the point here. Because you need to try and find the hobby group that's going to have the types of women you want to meet. Now, if you're watching this stream and somehow you do not yet know about the different types of women, man, you've got to get caught up. Okay, you've got to get caught up. You need to go on thesoulplayer.com. There's a whole section on the top where you can see all the different types of women and you can learn about the different types there and what their different interests are and things like that. And this is going to be very important for choosing the right hobby. What you want to do is you want to find where your hobbies and her hobbies have overlap. By her, I mean the type of girl you're interested in, not a particular girl. You're not doing this to chase down one girl. That's fucking creepy. That's weird. If there's some girl in your I don't know, microeconomics class and she says she's into photography, so you start taking up photography so that you can maybe try and join her group, that's weird. Don't do that. But if instead you say, well, this is the type of girl that I would like. Now, I'm not going to try and meet her there. but I'm going to try to meet girls like her who are also interested in these things. Okay, now you have a strategy. Strategy is the important part here. We cannot strategize well for just one individual. I mean, you can, but that's putting all your eggs in one basket, and that's the opposite of trying to find the right person, right? Because in your head you've already put this person on a pedestal, and so trying to chase after them is a bad idea. It's a bad strategy. But using them as an archetype and saying, I would like to meet girls like that who are of a similar type, a similar ideology. Okay, great. Then you can start to try and find where your hobbies overlap. And that's how you're going to find the right hobby. Now, if you are interested in meeting fat blue-haired chicks, then do your anime conventions, your Comic Cons, things like that. That's fine if that's what you're into. See, the problem that a lot of guys have is whenever I talk about hobby groups, they think about their hobbies and they say, well, okay, I'll just go join a hobby group for the hobbies that I have. But their hobbies are anime and World of Warcraft and Call of Duty and whatever else, like things like that. And it's like, okay, well, you can join those hobby groups, but if you're doing it to try and meet women, maybe not the best of ideas, right? D&D, ton of fun. Find your D&D group locally. Yeah, great, awesome. The types of girls who are going to be attracted to that are probably not the kinds of girls you want to meet. So you can do hobby groups for your own fun and edification, but that's different from using it as a strategy to meet women. I hope you guys understand that. That's what I mean by choosing the right hobby. Next, you need to find the right groups. Now this one can be a little bit trickier because depending on what hobby you decide to pursue, and it might be one that you already have, or it might be a new one that you're thinking to pick up because you're kind of interested in it and it seems like it would match the right types of girls. Okay, great, awesome. Then in that subsection, there are going to be different groups that cater to that need, to that hobby. And you want to be very careful with this because if you end up choosing a group that is either all dudes, all women, or is somehow at odds with your personality, those are all three going to be bad things. Now, you might think an all-women group is a good thing. Like, well, hell yeah, man. You know what? I've always been interested in trying yoga. I'm going to go join the women's yoga class and hang out there. Okay. You can, but with one huge caveat. You have a massive target on your back from the day you walk in because you're the only dude. And they are keeping their eyes on you because they want to make sure that you aren't some weird infiltrator trying to get in there to try and meet women. Do you see how that's not a good thing for you? Right? Because even one small misstep, if you make one small joke that goes a little too far, oh, that guy, he's a lech, he's a pedo, he's a racist, he's a ist, or whatever it is that they're going to call you, because they're going to call you stuff, right? You're setting yourself up for failure whenever you join a group that's all women. And obviously, a group that's all dudes, you can't meet women, right? Unless, of course, it is a community like ours. Speaking of which, if you have not yet joined our Discord community, you should check it out because it's totally free to join for the time being. And you can do it from thesoulplayer.com. At the top, there's a button that says community. You click that and it'll take you straight into the Discord and you can join us, talk to us. And that group is all guys, but it's all guys helping each other try to meet more women. So that kind of group is okay. You're not going to meet women in the group though, right? So finding the right group. Ideally, you want one that's about 50-50 men and women. Now, if you saw my email yesterday where I was telling you guys about today's live stream, I sent out a picture that I took years ago whenever I went rafting with an outdoor adventure group. And if you look at the picture, it's a full group picture of all the people that were there, and it's about evenly split, about 50-50 women. It might be a few more men or a few more women, but it's pretty close to even. This is ideal. I would love to get into the details and tell you why, but we're already up to 15 minutes and I need to keep going through this. However, I do go into more detail about this inside of the Girlfriend Accelerator course. So keep that in mind for later. Number 3, you need to ingratiate yourself. What does that mean? What does that mean? All right. There's nothing worse than somebody who shows up in an already established group and then basically says, hey, what can you guys give me? What can you do for me? Give me stuff. Answer my questions. Do things for me. Give me your women. Right? That guy is going to get kicked out real fucking quick because nobody wants him around. He's coming in and he's trying to take value, but he's offering nothing in return. You will not make that mistake because you are a smarter, wiser, and much more socially adept man than that. Instead, what you are going to do is you are going to come in and you're going to offer some kind of value. Now, it could be something as simple as your personality, right? If depending on what the group is. So in situations like I've been to language exchange groups many times, which is another great way to meet women. But whenever I go in, one of the first things that I do is I find the host of the event. I introduce myself. I thank him for hosting the event. I let him know that, I'm happy to help out. If there's anything I can do to help out, let me know. And then I go around and I start meeting people in the groups. And then, and this is the fun part, because this only takes maybe 5-7 minutes maximum. I start meeting different people, and then I start introducing them to each other. This is a wonderful tactic because even if they know each other already, they see that you're trying to help out and you're trying to be nice and you're trying to set up connections and link people up and say, oh, you're here to practice French? Well, actually, I just met a French guy over here. Hey, Aurelian, come over here. This girl wants to practice French. You guys should meet each other, right? Even if they already know each other, they see that I'm trying to offer and provide value. The reason that this is important is because you are there to take value. You are. You do have an underlying motive. And I know that. And I did too. But that can't be the first thing you do. That can't be the first thing you do. And it never should be in any situation, not just in hobby groups when you're trying to meet women, right? But in any situation, the first thing you should do is never try to get what it is you want out of the deal, right? You should start to ingratiate yourself with the group first. This ensures, one, that people are going to like you more, which in turn gives you a better chance with the women. Two, they're going to be able to give you the benefit of the doubt. If you try to push something a little bit too far, you try to kind of push boundaries a little bit and they say, oh, it's okay. It's just Jack, right? Like he's fine. He's just, he's maybe a little bit too friendly sometimes, but it's okay, right? It's not that big of a deal. It's all right. They will always give you the benefit of the doubt if they already like you. If they don't know you, if you've done nothing for them yet, then they're like, oh, someone's being a little bit weird. All right. You know what? Just fuck it. Just get him out of here. Right? Because of course they will, because they don't know you. So you need people to know you. You need people to know who you are. You need to provide something to the group, some sort of value, some sort of offer, some sort of help, anything at all. I still can't believe how shitty this camera is. Once we finish the lesson portion and we get into the Q&A, I'm going to try to... It's like it hears me threatening it. Okay. Let's go ahead and finish this bit up, and then I'll try to fix the software later. Number 4, and this one's the most important one. Don't be creepy. Don't be creepy. Do not do it. Now, this is a really hard one. Why is it hard? Because that's one of those weird words that doesn't exactly have a clear definition. There are a lot of people who are going to say different things. One of the things that I've said before is the difference between creepy and not creepy is the amount of confidence with which a guy does an action. And that's true, especially whenever it comes to touch. Breaking the touch barrier, if you do it slowly and unconfidently, then it's creepy, right? But if it's the most natural thing in the world, then it's not creepy. In social situations, it is a little bit different because, again, the word has no definite meaning. But in social situations, what you're going to be watching out for is, like I said, don't be a value taker. Don't be in there just trying to take whatever they have on offer. Don't go up rocking in like pussy's on tap and I need a glass. Don't do that. You don't want to. What you don't want to do is you don't want to rock up and only talk to women. Remember, our goal is to find a group that the hobbies match the types, that the groups are about 50-50 women, and that you're already adding value to. Now, if you do those things and then you're still only talking to the women, that's fucking weird. That's weird. The only way that that's possibly acceptable is if you're gay and nervous about talking to the guys. And if you're watching this stream, I'm assuming that's not the case. So don't just talk to the women. Talk to the guys too. Make friends. Even if you don't like them, even if you don't get along with them, right? Make fake friends. Be cordial. Be congenial. Be nice. Make conversation with the guys. Find something in common. Look, if you're getting to this point and you haven't yet figured out how to talk to guys in a social situation and not be a cockhead, then you're gonna be hopeless with women. So figure out how to talk to guys, make friends. Don't talk to only the guys. Don't talk to only the girls, right? Only the guys shows that you're not confident to talk to women. Only the girls shows that you're a creeper. Don't be either of those. Be a general social butterfly. I was going to use the word socialist, but that's got a different meaning to it altogether. Don't be a socialist. Don't be a communist. Be a good social butterfly. Talk to people of all stripes. Talk to them and make friends. Remember, your goal in the hobby group especially is not to try and pull a girl that day. You're not trying to bang her this day. You're not trying to get laid in the bathroom. This isn't a nightclub. It's a hobby group. It's a social group. Now, will situations present themselves where that's possible? Maybe. They have for me in the past. In that situation, you need to already know what to do and how to take advantage of those opportunities. But that's not the thing that you're there looking for. Remember, you're looking for the right type. So the only way you're going to get to know the types is if you start to chat with them. And then if you are applying your filter, which you learn all about in the Girlfriend Accelerator course, if you've already written your foundation document, which you do, and I literally walk you through one-on-one in the Girlfriend Accelerator course, then you're going to know exactly who it is you're looking for, what kind of traits you're looking for. And whenever you start to talk to these girls, you'll be able to filter them either in or out of what it is that you're looking for. By creating these filters that then lead them into your dating funnel, for lack of a better word, you can start to build a better relationship. And more importantly, you don't seem like a creep because you will be genuinely interested in this girl, or these girls, not just in trying to stick your willy in her. The difference there is massive. And even though the things you say may be exactly the same, the way you act may be exactly the same, as if you were trying to stick your willy in her. Women have this weird sixth sense where they can smell your intention. It's the same way that they can smell desperation. And so if you walk into these hobby groups and you're just desperate, if you look like a dog just, where the bitch is at, they're going to know immediately. And they're going to avoid you like the plague, right? Even if they're cordial, you know what? A lot of this stuff, it actually comes down to subconscious understanding, especially for women. is they'll say, I don't know, there's just something about it. Something seems off. There's something about him. I just, watch out for him. You're going to get something like that if you come in and if you're desperate and if you're just trying to fuck your way across the world. They're going to know it. They're going to know it and they're going to smell it. But if you're coming in and if you're looking for the right type of girl and you're chatting with people, all different kinds of people, and then whenever you do find somebody with whom you might be able to have an actual good connection, then you exchange numbers. Then you say, hey, what are you doing after this? Let's go grab a beer. Okay, then it's not weird because it's actually a good connection. Then everybody's happy about it. Do you see? Now, this is great for hobby groups because you've already kind of narrowed down the different types that are going to be there, or at least you have a guess. And you could be wrong. This is something that you need to accept, right? This is you're testing an idea here. If you say, I think, okay, I'm interested in the husband hunter type, and I think they are going to be at salsa dancing classes. Okay, great. So go to us, right? You have your hypothesis. You find the right group. You go to the salsa dancing class once or twice. See, is it the right types of girls? Are the people coming here the ones that you actually want to meet? And I'm not just talking about physically attractive. I mean the actual types that you said you're looking for. Because if they are, great. Your hypothesis was right. If not, hey, you know what? Let's come back to salsa dancing later. Let's find a different hobby, try a new hypothesis to try and find the right types of women. This is why hobby groups are such an effective way of meeting the right types of women for you. And this is really all that the Girlfriend Accelerator course is about, is we, not just the hobby groups, right? But finding different ways to exactly meet the right kind of girl for you. Too many guys go through life and they treat dating like a fucking roulette wheel where they just bet on a weird, like they bet on like 16 and then they're like, all right, well, we're just going to keep on spinning it until it lands on 16. Okay, I'm not going to spin it anymore, but like I'm still just hoping that one day it's going to land on 16. They go through this weird thing where they're just hoping that fate will drop this perfect girl in front of them, but they don't really know what they're looking for. It's this weird thing. And so instead, inside the Girlfriend Accelerator course, what I do is I walk you through how to identify exactly what type of girl it is you're looking for, what type of relationship it is you're looking for, why that matters, how you can start to find this type of girl out in the wild. And yes, like I said, today I'm giving you one of the strategies for free, which is to find the right hobby groups. Now, obviously, inside the course, we go through some more in-depth tactics and some more things about how to actually apply this, but we also go through all the different strategies and we teach you about how to create the right filter to filter the right girls in and the wrong girls out. We teach you how to create the funnel, the dating funnel, so that as you get to know these girls better, you can decide whether or not they're even worth your time, your effort, your energy, your money, so that you don't end up in a mediocre relationship with a mediocre girl, because, well, that's honestly how miserable relationships happen and why the divorce rate in the West is like greater than 50% at this point, right? Like it's kind of insane. And so if you want to avoid those fates, then I highly recommend the Girlfriend Accelerator course, where you can learn all this stuff and find the right girl or girls for you. Speaking of girls, there's even a section in there that I did together with Big Rich, where we teach you how to find, create, manage, and continue a harem of women. Basically spinning plates, but just having multiple girls on the go at all times, and how to actually do that in an ethical way, where you're telling them about what it is, where you're not lying, right? Well, Big Rich goes the other way with it, but we yin and yang, right? Yin and yang, the acoustic and the electric. We kind of counterbalance each other, but we even teach you how to do that. So if that's something that you're looking for, again, the filters and the funnel are going to be the way to go. Now, with all that said, let's go ahead and wrap up this section of it. Let's bring in the player panel and let's begin the Q&A. Today, instead of a full-on player panel, we only have a half player panel because sadly, Julius and Paul are not with us. But we do have Big Rich coming in from Thailand and the kid coming in from California. How are you boys doing?
Good.
Good. All right, now if y'all can just bear with me for 1 second, I'm going to pause real quick. And I'm going to try to fix my stupid fucking webcam. This thing is, oh God, I forgot this. I have to go through like the command prompt and what a pain in the ass. Okay, I'll deal with it later. All right. So anyway, how are you guys doing today? Big Rich, how's Thailand treating you?
Oh, wonderfully. Yeah. I fucked my back up in the gym.
Who's your backup?
I mean, my lower back.
I thought you meant I thought you meant not my main girl, but my backup. I fucked my backup in the gym. I was really happy for you, man. I've never
not
fucked
in the gym in this
before.
Well, yeah, my back is fucked. So I have for a week and I can barely walk. Yeah.
Well, the good news is you don't have to walk to have some fun with Lemmy Winks. So at least there's that.
Yeah. But yeah, everything else is good. Yeah.
Good, man. Good. So I already told this to Big Rich, but I wanted to share this with you guys. This is something kind of fun. I'm going to Osaka tomorrow for a quick little trip, 5 days. And when I was looking for a place to stay, I saw a hotel in the area I'm looking for. It's literally like on the corner of everything that's happening. And it's called Rich Rich. And I was like, okay, it's a sign. It's divine providence. I must get myself inside of Rich Rich. And so I booked my stay in Rich Rich. And yesterday they sent me the most glorious message. They sent me some message in Japanese. I don't read Japanese. I know, hard to believe. So I put it into Google Translate, and it said, "The time is coming soon. We look forward to cleaning your room." And I was like, this is so fucking creepy. This is exactly the kind of thing that Rich would send his guests if he ran a hotel. Although we did already talk about that. What Rich and I decided to do is one day, whenever we retire, we're going to settle down halfway in between Dallas and Austin. There's a small little town there called Waco, and it's halfway between them on the interstate. And so we're going to call it Big Dick's Halfway In. I stand by that as one of the greatest jokes that I've ever made in my life. Okay. Sorry. Oh, the kid. Save us from Jack. What do you have for us?
Yeah, so I guess to start kind of when it comes to like looking for the hobby groups, right? And trying to figure it out. How would you what's a good way to navigate picking hobby groups that if you maybe don't speak the local language might be a little bit friendlier besides the obvious like a language exchange?
Okay, so what you're going to do is one of the first places to start would be either in a language exchange, because people who go to language exchanges are also in other international groups, right? But the other things that you would do are you'd look on, meetup.com or couch surfing groups or Facebook groups, things like that. You're looking for international groups, basically groups that have both locals and foreigners from all over the world. Because whenever you have foreigners from all over the world, the de facto language is always going to be English. Because even if you're in Japan, you're in fucking, I don't know, Chile, whatever, right? Whenever you bring people in from all over, you can't expect everybody to have equal levels of mastery over the local language. So instead, you go to the default for everybody, which is English. That would be the way to go. Is you look for international groups, or you look for foreigner groups in Seoul, foreigner groups in Lima, whatever, right? Something like that. Because they're also going to have locals there. And those groups are going to be especially good if you're looking for foreigner lovers. But you look for those groups, and then they will often offer different activities within their larger group structure. Or you go there and you meet people who are locals, and you say, hey, I'm really interested in getting into this thing, but I can't find a group that, that speaks English. People are happy to help, especially, if somebody's new to their country. They want you to have a good experience in their country because they're proud of it, right? They want their country to resonate well with people from all over the world. So they're going to offer to help you, and they'll say, oh, well, let me see if I can try to find one that, that does it in English, that does, I don't know, that teaches community guitar lessons in English, or a fishing club that, maybe they do it half in English, half in Korean, or a church group. I mean, there are church groups here in Korea that do their whole sermons in English, and you don't have to go to Itaewon to find them either. Like there are different outreach communities and groups and stuff for that. So depending on what types of girls you're interested in meeting, find a local who is already in the international group scene, ask them to help you, and they will most likely help you get that thing going.
Okay.
What do you think, Big Rich? What would you do? I'm going to get some more coffee while you field this one.
I answered that one pretty perfectly, really.
He already left. Anything else to add?
Again, it was like, how would you go about looking for groups?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was pretty much like, I think it was like a holistic approach to the answer of like, you need to find international, really. You can't go for the pure local because you need the common language English no matter what, which makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go on to the next question. We'll have you go first on this one.
Yeah.
So, like, let's say you kind of embed yourself into a group, right? How do you go about like not gaining a reputation if you kind of stay there around and bounce around? Like, how would you prevent kind of a reputation spreading?
Right. Well, yeah.
Wear a condom.
The first time you enter the group, you don't want to be macking on all their contacts and just basically being a dirty dog, like getting drunk, hitting on every single girl. I think to avoid that would be to mainly try and bro out with the group organizers as soon as you possibly can. So then after name basis, they like you, they want to sit next to you, they introduce you to the rest of the group. And then the more and more you get to know them, the more and more you become one of the authority figures. So you're almost one of the leaders, like a secondary leader, and those leaders have asked to do. And then anyone who goes to the group sees you as one of the guys, like, man, they trust you, you're cool. And then, to avoid the rumors, like, make sure I don't do anything dodgy or too, like, is in the group situation. But let's say people there, and then you suggest an after party, and then you bounce outside to an after party which you're arranging. So then, yeah, once you do that little group of people, even boundaries, you could then maybe like try and isolate the girl you like, but you don't do it in front of everyone. You create the after party, then you go for your main you get on with most. Then you can progress things with that particular girl, get the number, or even whatever. If there's chemistry, then you may end up hooking up. Do it in a in a smart way. You're kind of doing that. The group has bounced after you've isolated and located the fun people with, like, vibe with well, and you're not just dragging the whole group there. You're not the fucking weirdos who have no social skills. You want to find out who the cool guys is. We're doing something later. Blah blah blah. Keep it niche. Don't take the whole fucking crowd, and then it's going to get back to everyone in the group.
Yeah, I agree with that entirely. Especially so on a long-term basis, if you find a group that you think is perfect for your needs, right? And if you really like this group and it's like, okay, cool, this is a great place to meet the types of women I'm looking for. Even if none of the girls here fit exactly what I want, but this seems to be a good congregating place for those people, then yes, absolutely try to get yourself even more into the structure. The same way that, like, if you go to a house party, right? If you go to a house party and you just show up and you don't say anything to the host and you drink all their shit and you try to hit on all the women, you're not getting invited to the next house party. But if you show up and you're like, you meet the host and you say, oh, hey, man, by the way, I saw that you guys are running low on ice. I'm going to go swing by the shop real quick and I'll get us a fresh bag of ice. Do you need anything else while I'm there? Okay, now all of a sudden, the host is like, this guy is fucking cool. I want him to be around more. Same is true for the groups. You join in with this social group, and it doesn't even take that long, maybe like 2 or 3 different meetups, right? And then you can be in with the organizers and be their go-to guy, which is great because, one, they'll go to bat for you. 2, they'll introduce you whenever somebody comes along and they're like, oh, Jack, I think that you'd really get along with this girl. Awesome, great. That works really well on a long-term basis. But in the short term, this idea of creating the after party is going to be very useful because most hobby groups, I mean, unless the hobby that you're choosing to go for is like whiskey tasting or something, right? Which fucking awesome, right? If that's actually a hobby group, sign me the fuck up. But unless your hobby group is already in a bar, then there's gonna be time enough afterwards for an after party, which is your time to shine. And so even if it's something as simple as like 30 or 45 minutes before things wrap up, be like, hey, me and a couple of the guys are going to go to a bar nearby afterwards and grab a beer or two. Do you want to come and join us? Okay. And don't just invite the girls, but like I said, with the groups, you want to try to keep roughly equal parity, right? So if you get 4 guys, you need at least 4 girls. Try to keep it as even as possible because you don't want guys trying to step all over each other for that one girl's attention, and you don't want girls trying to mother hen one another, because if mother hen ain't getting laid, nobody's getting laid, right? You guys know how this works. So try to keep it even, keep a kind of cool, fun atmosphere. But this is important because, like Rich said, when you're running the after party, you get to control the dynamic. You get to control how people interact with one another. Not control, but kind of dictate the parameters, right? Where like, No, we're no longer in the social group. This is party time. Party time means we drink more, we flirt more, we party more, we might dance a little bit. There might be a little grinding, some weird shit like that. Who knows? But hey, anything goes at the bar, right? You get to kind of dictate the new social parameters, which is very much in your favor. Now, what Rich was saying earlier about being able to isolate the girl that you're interested in, important. Don't be creepy when you do it. Don't go up in front of the whole group and be like, "Hey, Ashley, how about me and you go and stand on the balcony for 5 to 7 minutes and see what happens?" Right? Like that's fucking weird. Like don't do that. But maybe if you guys are chatting, be like, "Hey, I'm out of beer. Let's keep this conversation going. Here, come with me up to the bar. I'm going to get a new one." Okay, now you can isolate her and then talk, and y'all can kind of keep things going apart from the group. And if you have enough chemistry and if you think you can pull it, then pull it. One of the best things is that, so you were asking about avoiding the reputation. If you bang a girl in the group, nobody else will ever know. If you try to flirt with her and you're fucking creepy and weird, everybody else will know. All right. So the girl will not tell if you guys bang. She also won't tell anyone if you flirt and it's successful, right? Like if she's really into it, if she's digging it, you guys exchange contacts, you set up a date for a couple of days later. Remember to follow the 72-hour rule. 72 hours from the moment you first meet, you need to be on the first date. So if you set up the date for a couple of days later, she's not going to say anything to anyone, right? Because it's not a thing yet, and I don't want to get too excited about it. And I don't want people to know. Listen, you need to understand how women work amongst each other. You need to learn how to speak womanese. And once you realize these things, that she's never going to tell if she sleeps with you. She's never going to tell if the flirting was good. She's never going to tell if you guys are going on a date, except maybe to her close friends. And probably her close friends aren't really in the group. So use this to your advantage. You can basically, with impunity, bang. But you can't bang everybody in the group. I mean, you can, but you're not going to get very far before the reputation thing starts to happen. So you want to avoid a reputation, slow things down, maybe max bang 1-2 girls from the group a month, right? And then, by the time that reputation does start to spring up, especially if you're kind of subtle with your flirting and you kind of keep it under the table and a little bit under on the DL, then by the time a reputation starts to spring up, everybody's just going to be like, "Wait, you banged him? And you banged him? And we all banged him? Oh, shit." And then at that point, the women are like, "Fuck it, what you going to do?" And the guys are all high-fiving you. So if the reputation springs up once you're already wildly successful, it's fine. Because nothing's going to hurt you at that point. At that point, it's a boost to your reputation rather than a detriment. And assuming you're already in well with the organizers and that you're not like banging the organizer's girlfriend or something weird, right? That's a bad idea. But yeah, like just don't. All of the stupid things that you could do and all of the creepy and weird things you could do, just don't do those. I mean, it's an oversimplification, but that's basically what I just said for the last 6 minutes.
It's good advice.
It's simple yet effective.
Yeah.
Much like the pull-out method. Oh. I've always been a little bit torn on how to describe the pull-out method in the funniest way. Would you call it pull and pray or spray and pray? Because I feel like spray and pray is funnier, but it doesn't quite elucidate what it is that well. Anyhow.
No, it sounds like the opposite.
Yeah. Just hope she's not ovulating today. Spray and pray. Oh Jesus. Okay. All right, the kid. What do you have next for us?
I guess the next one would be because a lot of the things you're saying is kind of like playing the kind of semi-long game in these scenarios, right? But
Yeah.
it's also kind of working on a semi-assumption. Maybe you're in an international location, right? I mean, it'd be
Sure.
very similar if you're still not in international, right? But
Well, if you're
how?
not in an international location, then it opens up your prospects even more,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So, I guess a good question now would be like, let's say you're in a scenario maybe where it's like, let's say this group maybe meets once or twice a week, right? And you're not in this city, maybe you didn't move here for like a year, right? You're not gonna be here for many, many months, a year. Maybe you're more here for like, let's say 2 months, right? Just it's like a long vacation, right?
Okay.
Or like you're here for summer. How does your time crunch change? Does the strategy change at all? Um, like how would you go about it differently if it's a much shorter time span?
Okay. Shorter time span means you're looking for a different kind of relationship, right? If you're only in a place for a month or two, you're not trying to find the one. You're trying to find maybe at best a short-term relationship for a month, right? God, this thing thinks I'm in the goddamn bat cave. What's wrong with this webcam? The kid, fix this thing. It's so fucking pisses me off every day. All right. So you're not looking for the one. Hobby groups, not really the best use of your time. Uh, if you're there for a short amount of time, the only possible exception there would be exchange groups.
Yeah, I think, or you just basically go to any group that a location that has alcohol on the menu.
Yeah, pub
Otherwise,
crawl
pretty
groups, something like
much.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
because you're not trying to like get in for the long term there. It changes the type of relationship you're looking for, and by changing the type of relationship, it changes the type of girl you're going for, right? Because you're yes, it's possible to get a prude for a short term fling, but fucking why? Right? You're gonna spend the first 3 weeks just training her to what you like. Go for a slut. Go for an attention whore instead, right? Because or go for a crazed lover, or hell, go for the cheater, because those are fun, adventurous girls who, right? You don't really give a shit what they're doing on the side, or if you know go for a different type of girl, and all of a sudden you're going to find that now your calculus has changed a lot. When your inputs change of what type of girl you're looking for, what type of relationship you're looking for, the output of where should I go to meet these girls, what kind of strategy should I adopt, changes massively. So you're not going to be trying to meet a husband hunter at the salsa dancing class. You're going to be trying to meet an alcoholic at the pub crawl, right? You're going to be trying to meet the foreigner lover at a language exchange group. Somebody who's down to just like show you around the city for a week or two, bang it out each night. And then after a couple of weeks, you just kind of stop texting, right? Like that's honestly what you're more looking for if you're on a short term basis. So uh, it, this is the reason that I actually keep on pushing the Girlfriend Accelerator program, because it works like a computer program where you start off with your inputs, right? What types of girl you're looking for, what types of relationship you're looking for, and then it gives you a different output based on that. Here's the kinds of places you need to go. Here are the kind of strategies you need to adopt. Here are the types of your personality that you need to show. Actually, the kid, let's see if we can build a small program that does that, because I'm sure we can make that happen. That shouldn't be too hard to actually create an IO program like that. But yeah, that's it. Changes the entire strategy. What do you think, Big Rich? I mean, this is your bread and butter, right? You jump from place to place like a sailor jumps from bed to bed.
Yeah, that good point. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, if I know I'm in a place for, I don't give a fuck about my reputation. I'll go in there and just tear it to pieces. And if I know I'm just never going to be back there again, I'm not going to be
I mean,
focused on going out.
haven't you been banned from a few bars in Hongdae as well?
Few.
Yeah, like I know you,
Yeah.
man. Of course, but here's the thing: is that like this isn't your long term home. I'm not saying this to get down on you or to call you out. What I'm saying is you're right. The strategy is correct. You go in with no regard for anything like that. Like I don't care about my long term reputation. I'm here to bang for about 3 months till my tourist visa expires, and then
Yeah.
I'm fucking on my way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. With that, it's looking at it like a dial. Like you've got an egg timer. You've got lots of time to keep your relationship intact. If you're there for a year, blow it out. Just do your thing. It doesn't matter any of these people again. You know, I'd say for that.
Yeah, I mean, think about it like if you showed up in a country and you were there for a week and a bank from that country that has no connection to anything else anywhere else in the world just gave you a credit card for $100,000 and they said, here you go, spend however much you want, but pay it back before you leave. Would you pay it back? Fuck no. You'd be out there just blowing that credit card out, and then you just
Of course.
peace out, right? Like it works the same way. Social credit, and I'm not talking about the Chinese kind, but social credit works the same way. Wherein if you're going to be there for a long time, it's worthwhile to build that up, to make sure that everybody trusts you, that they know that you're a cool guy, that they know who you are, that they'll go to bat for you, that that the bartender won't rat you out whenever you bring a different girl each day of the week, whatever. Okay, great. It's totally worth it. But if you're only there for 5 days, who gives a fuck? Even if you're only there for a month, right? Like there are enough bars in any major city in the world that you could go to a different one every single night, completely blow out your reputation in every single one of them, and it wouldn't affect the next night whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally.
Probably not.
Yeah, and
probably
also,
not
like,
the answer you were expecting, the kid.
Yeah, and also if you do that, if you're in a foreign country, you're only there, and you blow out every bar, they're not going to remember you in 6 months or a year from there in again and blow it all out again. Yeah.
They're like, unless you do something insanely stupid, like try to steal a cop car or try to start a fight with the Moroccan mafia,
Yeah.
then nobody's gonna fucking remember you, right? Because they kick out drunk assholes every night of the week, right? That doesn't matter, right? You're not even gonna show up on their radar. And the same is true for the girls, right? You could approach the same girl 6 months later and she's not gonna fucking remember you unless you're wearing a fucking fish hat or something, like something very distinct.
I got so many girls came up to me during the time I was here in Korea who I'd met like many months ago, right? Let's say like 6 months before or 9 months before. So I returned, Rich, where have you been? How are you doing? Do you remember me? What's my name? I'm like Kim, Tiffany. And
your name is
there were so
Miss
many.
Right.
Yeah, but there's so many I'd completely forgotten because I'd just been in, obviously build up a bit of a reputation. But for me, it was just looking at blank faces. I remember who these people are, and especially when they're wearing masks.
That's the go-to. That's the go-to. Oh, Rich, you remember me? What's my name? I'm sorry, I have this terrible medical condition called aphasia. Maybe you've heard of it. Bruce Willis has it as well. I'm unable to recognize and remember faces. But if you remind me your name, then that will ring a bell for me, right? Like, just start making up bullshit.
Yeah.
Again, who cares? Who cares? No, I wouldn't even lie. I would just be like, well, that depends. Did you sleep with me? No? Okay, well, that's probably why I don't remember you. I bet we can fix that this time around.
That's a good one.
Hi, my
That's
name's
a
Jack.
good one, Jack.
Let's try
Yeah.
again. Round 2, fight.
I like that.
Like, just, I mean, yeah. I don't know. I feel like this was probably not the way that you were expecting us to answer that question, the kid. You thought I was going to give a more anodyne milk toast response because that's a lot of what my teaching revolves around. But a lot of my teaching revolves around the understanding of a longer term plan. But if your plan is short term, dicks out for Harambe, right? No one gives a shit.
Okay.
Never forget. Never forget. I've had my
Yeah.
dick out since 2016. 2015? Was it 2015? It must have been. Anyhow, that is just a wonderful note to end today's stream on. And for those of you who are watching, if you haven't done it yet, do me a big favor. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Feeds the YouTube monster. You know, we all love it. We hate it. We stick our dick in it. It doesn't matter. It's fucking YouTube. But if you hit the button, it would help me a lot, and I'd really appreciate it. So, with all that said, thank you for joining today, Big Rich. Thank you for joining today, the kid. And I will catch you guys next time. So, till then,